So here's what's actually happening. Gas stimulus checks are still being considered. These are still things that the White House is highly considering because they would actually help the American people. But I want to address what the real reason behind lawmakers requesting more assistance for the American people. I want to address why this is, because something has been happening over the past few months, but today we saw it really hit home. Here's what happened today. Today we saw the latest unemployment numbers come out from last week. It was reported that only 187,000 people filed for new unemployment benefits last week. This is the lowest number we have seen in 1 week. It's the lowest number on record since 1969. This is a huge accomplishment, but Democrats are also saying that this creates additional problems. Here's the reason why. According to multiple White House officials, they're applauding the efforts of President Biden and the Biden administration in getting Americans back to work. But they say that it is understandable that gas prices will increase as there is more of a demand for it. That's what we see every single year right around the spring and summertime is gas prices go up because there's more demand. People are traveling. But when we are seeing lower unemployment numbers come in every single week, the issue there is more people are going back to work. Now, why is this an issue? Because when people go back to work, the economy is better off. Everybody's working. People are making their own wages, right? Things are good. The reason this is a problem is because we are looking at it from the gas price standpoint. That is it. Currently, the national price of gas per gallon is $4.23. This is good. We're seeing gas prices level off. This is really good, but here's the issue. The other side of gas prices being, leveled off is they're still too high. They're still too high by about 50 cents, according to some estimates. Now, some economists worry that with more people going back to work, they could eventually question how much their current job is making them and decide to leave that current position because it's not actually making them that much money after they factor in childcare, cost of gas, right? Insurance, maybe their vehicle. A lot of things factor into this. And so that's the other worry is we could be seeing unemployment numbers come down temporarily, but if gas prices go back up even more, then we could see those numbers start to creep up again. So that would be a scary situation. Now, there are some states that are providing some relief. There's a few states that are providing gas tax holidays, and it's going to help save, 18, 30 some cents a gallon, which is great. It's something, but it's not like California because California is still pushing to get $800 per household to help pay for gas. Now, this would be if you own 2 vehicles. Now, here is something I want to bring up because when I mentioned this the other day, a couple people here in the community asked and brought up a very important question. What constitutes as a vehicle? Does a car count? Does a truck count? An RV? A moped? Right? Does it just have to be street legal? And the reason they bring this up is because what happens when people figure out a way to abuse the system to get $400 checks per vehicle up to 2 vehicles? What happens then? Could you register or could you get a stimulus check of $400 for a car that is broken down, totaled, and sitting in your driveway, doesn't even have an engine in it? The answer could potentially be yes. So that's interesting, but that was a question somebody brought up, and let me know your thoughts. Do you think somebody would abuse the system in California in order to get an additional $400 or potentially $800? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But what you need to keep in mind is that the gas stimulus check is still being considered by the White House. This is still on the table. According to White House officials, nothing has been ruled out. They will leave everything on the table because they want to figure out a way to make sure the American people are taken care of. Now, with the recent reports that Senator Joe Manchin is actually re-engaging in his talks regarding the President Biden's economic agenda or that Build Back Better Act, it would make sense that Democrats attempt to get or at least put some form of assistance for gas into that bill to provide for the American people. The only question is, how large would these checks need to be, and who would actually get them? Because honestly, we don't know. But something else that I mentioned yesterday is that multiple experts believe that gas stimulus checks would only raise prices on gas even more. But at the same time, economists say that passing stimulus checks, or really stimulus, okay, not checks, but stimulus in general to the lowest income earners here in the United States would actually not cause additional inflation. But this is as long as that additional stimulus was not a physical check that somebody could go in cash, take that money and do whatever they want with. It would have to be a gas card that could only be swiped and used at the pumps. That is it. That is the only way they say it would not impact inflation. Because if we do provide additional assistance and it's through a stimulus check or some type of card that you can, a debit card that you can just go to the ATM and withdraw the money, that would contribute to higher inflation. That is not what we want to see at this time. Now, one other thing that many lawmakers have actually been pushing for is going green. And I really want to address this because I see all the time in the comments whenever I talk about gas or electric vehicles, people say, is it even worth it to buy an electric vehicle? I can tell you right now, I've looked into it, and yes, it would be worth it in some cases, but for me, right now, it is not worth it. I am waiting. I would love to see additional rebates. That's what I want to see. But right now, many don't want to spend the money. Many don't have an additional, I was going to say 30, but that's a little low. 40, 50, 60, $70,000 for an electric car. Most people don't have that. And do they really need to spend that kind of money on a vehicle right now? Well, lawmakers have brought up multiple times that providing tax breaks and incentives would be the best way to get people into electric vehicles. So, if we don't see a stimulus check, which I don't think we will on a federal level, we could potentially see a gas card. The gas card, could this be possible? Yes. This is more possible than a stimulus check, but the issue there is who would actually be responsible for sending out these cards? If we're going to be looking at the IRS, well, I don't think this is going to happen during tax time. Potentially after, but this could be in the summer, which is probably not the best time to be sending out these cards because people are obviously just going to use them and then they're just going to go on vacation, go travel, right? But the most likely option at this point, according to multiple experts and according to a few economists, is they believe the best thing to do is to provide tax incentives. That's the best thing because tax incentives will get people to spend money now. However, they're really going to see the benefits later on when they get that money back. So it's kind of what we're hearing there. However, one thing I do want to really touch on for a brief second is Senator Joe Manchin is actually against this because he's very worried that if the United States goes all EV, 100% EV or very close to it, this would cause the United States to be almost 100% reliant on other countries who are producing batteries and other materials needed for those cars. So that's a major issue there. So if you're still wondering, what is Congress going to do and when are they going to actually get something done? Well, you're going to continue to wonder that for some time because what we are hearing right now is that there's many steps between where we're currently at and getting a deal done, providing relief to the American people. And the main thing right now is we are seeing inflation. And according to the Federal Reserve, just the other day, they are expecting we will see inflation for another 3 to 4 months before it finally peaks. It will level off for a few months. It will slowly come back down. But we could potentially be in this for 6 months, maybe 12 months, maybe a little bit longer. So just understand that there are gas stimulus plans out there, but whether they pass now or in maybe 6 months, we don't know. But just understand that you cannot rely on the federal government to give you a stimulus check because if they do, there's going to be something that we are going to have to pay for. We will eventually have to pay for these. So there's going to be some good and some bad to every situation, and that's currently why I wanted to bring you this update because good news is more people are going back to work. Bad news is gas prices are expected to go up. So Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button as always, and I'll see you guys on the next one.